We got Twins pitching prospect Marco Raya here with us today. Super exciting on today's episode of Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. It's Tuesday, October 18th. I'm your gracious host, Nash Walker. Thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Exciting Tuesday. Marco Raya is with us. Marco came on Locked On Twins in June of 2020. So that was right at the draft in the middle of COVID, and had just been drafted by the Twins out of high school. That was fun to have him on. We got him back today, a couple of years later, and a couple of strong seasons in 2022, especially later. Marco, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're really excited to have you. We got some questions from some Twitter fans. I got some questions for you. So 20 years old. For those who don't know, Marco's 20, drafted in that COVID draft in 2020 out of high school, out of Laredo. And since then, 19 games this year, 17 starts, 3.05 ERA in 65 innings, 29% strikeout rate, 9% walk rate, right-handed. And Marco told me last time his favorite pitcher in the bigs is Marcus Stroman. So I got a question. Have you been able to connect with him? Have you talked to him? Have you met him?
I have not in person, but over Twitter, I have spoke to him a little bit, and but that's about it.
That's sweet. I think I remember seeing that because I was thinking about it today. I think I remember seeing you two interact over Twitter. That was super cool because I remember you said he's somebody you look up to. Also at that time, Marco said, I wrote an article, headline, "Everyone will know my name." And I thought that was amazing. Is that chip still on your shoulder today, Marco? You still feeling that?
Definitely, just like it was when I was in high school.
Amazing. Yeah, everyone will know my name. And that chip still there. So when you're pitching and when you're going through this offseason, because it's such a grind, I know you're working out today, you're working out every single day. What is your why? You're waking up who, why, what's your motivation on a day-to-day basis?
Really my family, and just, we've played baseball. We're a baseball family. Since I was pretty much born into the sport. I was born and straight to my brother's games, and it was just it's kind of just a baseball family, and that's just the dream you grow up with, playing and stuff, wanting to make it to the big leagues and play Pro Bowl. And up to now, I'm the first one in my family to achieve it, and I'm still got a ways to go.
Yeah, how much did you learn this year? What did you learn pitching at Fort Myers? I forgot to say, down in Fort Myers, pitching for the Mussels. What did you learn this year pitching for them?
I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the Twins organization. Just try to be a sponge and soak as much as I can in. And really grew more even on the mental side because I had some ups and downs, and was able to work through that and handle that, and just kind of gave me a little bit more experience on and off the field.
So I remember hearing, I think a little bit in 2021, was there a shoulder strain in 2021, or was there something with your shoulder last year?
Yeah, I had on somewhere in the I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was something with my shoulder, and they were just being careful with it rather than rushing back and stuff. So
yeah, and then this year, was there a little bit of that too? Do they have you kind of on a limit here early on since you came out of high school and lost that season kind of in 2020 in that summer? Is that something they're aware of with you?
This year was definitely more than anything was the delays. It was that really messed up with me. I had for a month or two in a row was where I had delayed or pushed back, and I would only go 3-4 innings. So that was kind of the main thing. But this year, other than that, shoulder issues and stuff like that were minor.
Okay, so yeah, and you're such a competitor, so I bet when they're pulling you after 3 and 4, they're watching out for you. You know that, but I would assume I would be a little rattled from time to time.
Definitely, Brian Meyer and I that are head coaches here. Every time he would go pull me on the mound, I would always ask him, "Let me get one more, let me finish this inning," or something. We would always just get a little smirk and just talk about it, and he'd just be like, "Just play it safe and think about the future."
Yeah, the good news is she definitely ramped that up next year. I would think, right? I would think
Hmm.
next year. Have you guys had conversations like I'll be good to go, like 5 and 6 every outing, or have you had that discussion yet?
As of right now, no. Right now we're just in the off season and just really focusing on the off season training and getting ready for 2023 spring training.
Yeah, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Like, what does that look like?
Right now I'm not actually tossing yet. This week I'm starting optional plyos, but I've been throwing a tennis ball just to keep my arm in motion and just really been hitting the gym, focusing on my weight and my strength.
Yeah, I assume lifting too, getting bigger. We got some questions. One major league guy you would like to face, and how would you pitch to him? How I interpreted this as like it would be fun for you to face. Who would you pick, and how would you pitch to that guy?
I would want to face Otani, and I honestly, I mean, he's a great hitter, so I mean, I'd really just attack in the zone, and just see what he could do with it, or see what the outcome of the at bat is. But I'm for sure gonna attack.
Yeah, you told me in 2020, you thought your best pitch was your slider back then. I remember you said my
Hmm.
slider, so much break on that pitch. Josiah's wondering, do you still feel that way? Do you still feel your slider is your best pitch?
Honestly, I just today I feel like my pitches are almost all together just as like as good. Like my slider is still great. My curveball I've got that a lot better over these last 2 years. I mean fastball is good. Changeup is the one that I'm currently still working on a little bit, but it's certainly gotten a lot more better.
Yeah, right-handed hitters this year against Marco hit 240. No, I'm sorry, 171. They hit 171, 253 on base, slugged 308. That is a 561 OPS. So that'll tell you about the slider. Tell you about the whole arsenal for Marco. Righties had some trouble. A lot more coming from Marco Raya. Favorite parts of pro ball. More about the offseason routine. So much more coming up after this word from Bet Online. Bet Online is your trusted source for everything you need this football season. It's not just football. We got the championship series, the World Series coming up. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of that this season. As always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sport wagering information with live betting and up to the minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including Major League Baseball, the MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. Again, not just football. There's so much to go play. The NBA is starting tonight. The T-Wolves are in action. If you want to go play over there, head over to betonline.net. Football, basketball, anything you're looking for, betonline.net. Welcoming Marco Raya back in to the box here on Locked On Twins. So, Marco, what have been your favorite parts of pro ball so far? Now that you've had, a season and a half, essentially, or I guess it's been two full now, two and a half full
Hmm.
seasons.
Really just that brotherhood, and just that creating that family, like that, that kind of like that family idea with our teammates and coaches and stuff like that. Just really learning like just about everybody and just being around the best there is. Just really picking up on each other and just learning from each other, and that's really has what has been my favorite part so far.
You're progressing toward throwing, right? You're gonna throw, like, when does that start? Are you gonna throw like before Christmas, or when do you start that progression?
Right now, I just got in contact with one of the pitching coaches, and we'll be talking about that like in like the soon to come. Just when like we're gonna start throwing again, stuff like that.
Okay. What does your spring training look like? So you'll be in, because I'm not sure like exactly if you're at the lower minors, or you'll be in Fort Myers, like at the
Hmm.
complex in the spring.
Yes, sir. I'll
Okay.
be as I mean, I think I mean I usually am in the minor league spring training, but I mean hopefully this year I'll throw in a big league spring training game.
What have you learned about the Twins or like the organization? I don't know if you got to catch any games this year. Hopefully in the first half, not as much in the second half. But what have you learned about like the org? Like, what do you know about Target Field? Have you been learning more and more? Because you're from Texas, I assume,
Hmm.
not as much familiarity with the Twins. What have you learned so far about the org?
Really just one of the best development wise, just really great like on the development side, and just really preparing us for the big leagues. And I mean, the only time I was at Target Field was when I went down there and signed my contract in 2020. But other than that, I mean, the place was great. I walked around the stadium, just looked around and stuff, and it looks like a great place.
Yeah, Josiah had a question about that too. What have they been working on with you? Maybe don't reveal all your secrets, but what have you been working on development wise with coaches, with everybody down in Fort Myers?
Mainly just weight and strength, getting my weight up and just really getting stronger.
Yeah, if you're like 95, 96 now, right? And you can bump that up into
hmm
the upper 90s. So I assume like if you are adding weight, that can your velocity is part of that too.
hmm Yeah, I mean, earlier this year, I spoke to a couple of our coordinators, and they showed me a graph of like when my weight like goes up, like my velo goes up with it. So it's just really, yeah. So just right now, that's really what I'm focusing on is my strength and my weight. And in the last 2 weeks, I'm on a bulking program right now, and in the last 2 weeks, going on three, I've gained 10 pounds. So that's pretty
Wow.
good.
Well, that's got to be exciting. You're like, my stuff's already electric. I already throw super hard, and I know, like, if I continue to get bigger, the sky's the limit, right? That's how I would
For
think about
sure.
it. Pitch, I'd be like, wow, I would love that. So what is something Twins fans? We'll separate this into two parts. What's something you want Twins fans to know about you as a person off the field? What would be something you'd want them to know?
Um, Really, I mean, I'm right now, and my like one of my main goals is just to really like pave a path for the youth down here in Laredo, and just because it's just like a small city with limited opportunities. I just kind of want to prove to them and show them that like not having limited opportunities and being from a small town like way down in South Texas, that it's not impossible to achieve your dreams and to actually like accomplish what you want to accomplish.
That's awesome. That's great. And then as a pitcher, what do you want Twins fans to know about you?
Just got that chip on my shoulder. I'm aggressive and just always want to be better than the batters in the box.
Who have you learned from your teammates down there? Like, who are some guys you've kind of connected with, you've become closer with in Fort Myers?
I mean, I mean, a bunch of guys. Like I don't think I can name all of them, but I mean, Reggie Grace was the first guy I kind of connected with when I got down there in 2020, and like I mean, ever since then we've been like pretty close buddies. So like him, Keone Cavaco as well. I mean, there's so many guys that we just see every day and just kind of like create a brotherhood.
It is, yeah, it is that brotherhood. Do you know exactly, yeah, or have an idea at least about where you're going to start, or that those meetings come later on?
Yeah, those meetings come later on. Right now,
Okay.
I have no clue.
What's your goal for 2023 if you were to boil it down? I know you probably got a bunch, but I'd say what are your goals? Like what are your biggest goals for the upcoming season?
Really just be better. Just it's me versus me. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about who's next to me. Don't worry about who's behind me, who's in front of me. Just keep looking forward and keep working.
What's your approach? Are you separating that approach against righties and lefties? Like, what's your mindset? I can't say to no. I play the show,
hmm
so I pitch maybe differently in the show. But like, how do you, as when you're on the mound, how do you approach those matchups?
I really just attack with my best stuff and just reading react hitter swings and see how they react to pitches and just pretty much go off that. Like, just if they're up on the plate, maybe throw them a fastball inside, get them off a little bit, see how they react to that, and then maybe just throw some off speed after that and stuff like that. Just really kind of reading and reacting off hitters.
Yeah, I assume like righties busting them in with the fastball, sliders down and away. That's my go-to when I'm playing
hmm
Diamond Dynasty. That's what I like to do. Are you like are you a gamer when you're away when you're not lifting? Like what do you do in your free time?
I mean, I've always had a console. Like I've always had the PS4. I have the PS5 right now, but it's actually crazy because I rarely turn it on.
Oh,
Like
really?
I've never really been a like a video games type of guy.
Wow.
I've
So
tried getting into it so many times, but it just like I just
yeah.
can't follow through with it.
So you sleeping in and then you're eating and kind of just like hanging out before you go lift, or what does that look like?
I really don't sleep in because I kind of since I'm on the bulking plan, I have like I'm a meal planner right now,
Gotcha.
and I have like I pretty much my meals are timed. So I'm like I start at 8 a.m. and then I
Wow.
eat every 3 hours. So like it's like 8, 11, 2, and then just goes on like that.
Wow. So you started that how long ago?
2 weeks ago, two
And
going on
you're
3.
already up 10 pounds from that.
Yeah, I've gone up 10 pounds, and then I've gone up 4 pounds in muscle and 1 down percent in body fat.
Wow,
1% down
that's
in body
amazing.
fat. Yeah.
Wow. At the end of the offseason, I'll be interested to to hear what it like, how that went, how that finished up. I bet there's probably like a quick increase and maybe it like levels. I don't know.
I mean,
I
that's what I'm thinking, because I don't like, if it just keeps going, I'm gonna
You're gonna
start to
be
have to,
absolutely
gauge.
massive jacked. You'll be big. You'll be huge. Yeah. So we got some other questions too. I am curious, like when you're looking at these final four teams in the championship series, are you did you grow, I can't remember if I asked you this. Are you an Astros fan? Did you grow up like a Rangers fan? I think you might have said, I can't remember. Who did you say you grew up cheering for?
I grew up a Red Sox fan with my mom.
I
Yeah,
remember I was
my
gonna
mom
say
and I are Red
Yankees.
Sox
I'm
fans.
glad I didn't say Yankees because I knew it was Audi.
Yeah.
I could remember that. So I assume it's not the Yankees here in the ALCS. Who would you be rooting for if you had to cheer for the other three?
I'm gonna have to go with ATL. I'm gonna have to go with ATL on this one.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to watch that. And do you follow like during the season or are you just so locked in? Like you're not as
Yeah,
much.
during the season, I like when we're still playing. I have the like the MLB app too, where I get the notifications and
Yep.
stuff, but I'm not really like paying attention too much to it,
Probably
unless like,
Stroman's lines, checking the pitching lines for sure.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
unless DeGrom's pitching or Scherzer, like guys like
Yeah.
that, then I'll be like tuned in.
Yeah, who's like a young, because Stroman's he's not old, but like he's getting
Hmm.
older. Who's like a young starter you look up to? Is there a young major league starter you like to watch?
I mean, I've gotten a lot of Tristan McKenzie, just because of kind of like my size of being like skinnier a little bit.
Yeah,
But there's just so many great pitchers, like Strider, for an example.
yeah,
It's just great, solid. So
yeah.
just guys like that,
I'm
yeah.
going to tend to see a lot of McKenzie, unfortunately, this year. You're right, he was awesome. Very good in the playoffs as well. That would he's special, man. He's fun to watch. Yeah, I assume like you watch guys who remind you of yourself, when you were young. And it's Tristan McKenzie throwing 180, 200 innings a year at his size. It's so impressive,
Yeah,
on a yearly
crazy.
basis. So yeah, super cool. Marco Raya, 20 years old, Laredo, Texas. A lot on him already. We got Baseball Prospectus is like dropping things. Are you aware of like, I always ask guys prospect rankings, like, are you reading articles they write about you, or are you just kind of tuning that out?
No, yeah, I don't really pay attention to that. Like, my dad he tells me sometimes that there's like they write things down on Twitter and stuff about me,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I just it's like kind of like, okay, cool, because kind of once you start like getting into all that and
Yeah.
paying attention to all that, it kind of can get into your head. So
Yeah. Have
just
you like
really
you
focusing
do
on
you make an effort to not do that, or have you always been that way? Like you just don't listen to the noise. Have you always
Oh
done
yeah,
that?
I just don't listen to the noise. Like, just kind of block it out. Just kind of do my thing and just keep working hard.
For sure. So you were committed to, was it A&M?
I was committed to Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. That's right. Okay. Committed to Texas Tech. Do you ever think like about having that college experience? Like, do you ever think about, you're probably watching your friends you graduated with, like, does that ever go
Mhm.
through your head?
It has a couple times, but I mean, I wouldn't have, if I would have had to make decision again. I would have made the same one. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just kind of getting my career started early, and I mean, it's been great since I've grown and gotten better. Like, it's not even close to from when I first started to today.
Awesome.
So
There's
yeah,
so much more room to grow, I know for sure. And Marco, we're super glad you came on. I know Twins fans are going to really enjoy this. Getting stronger, we're not going to recognize him on the mound in the spring. He's going to be so beefed. Marco, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man, and good luck this off season. Keep working, do your thing, and keep being yourself. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me on.